All right, all right. So welcome back to Studio 39, aka the Bear Cave. I'm Rob Odie, and this is Spotlight 39, coming to you live just like we do Monday through Thursday, pretty much every week at or around 8 p.m. We're bringing high school student athletes, we're bringing current and former collegiate athletes, we're bringing professional athletes from the NFL, the MLB. Haven't tapped in the NBA yet, but that's coming soon. But nonetheless, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on because we drop new content every single day. Comment down below, tell me who you want to have on the show. More importantly, comment down during this broadcast. I'm gonna bring it up, show my man some love. Black Bear Nation, where you at? Look, man, let's get into it. Let's have some fun, man. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and we'll have some good conversation. The floor is yours, my man.
Hey man, hoping we're doing good out there. My name is Deshawn Stevens. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm currently 23 years old. I'm a fifth-year senior here at the University of Maine. I play middle linebacker, a little defensive end, a little more stuff around the ball. Shout out to Black Bear Nation. Thank you, my boy, for having me out here, and let's go into it.
Good deal, man. So look, first and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time. Obviously you've been waiting a long time for this season to kick off, and you took, 30 minutes or so out of your night to jump on with me, man, on a bye week. So thank you for that. I'm super excited, man. But more importantly, I'm excited about what we're about to get into. Because anytime I can talk about 2018 and what it meant to me, the family, and then you guys at the University of Maine, it's special. So we'll start with that. If you don't mind, man, let's just kind of reminisce on the 2018 season. What did it mean to you? And just share your thoughts and memories, and we'll go from there.
2018 was by far the most successful, most pivotal year since being here at the school. Just remember from going into that from 2017, we had like a taste in our mouth, basically, where we knew we could succeed and do a lot more as a team, as a family, as a program, all that good stuff. And you know what? The off season, everything up to that point was basically building towards that and going through that stuff. Myself, especially too, I got a few games at the end of 2017 to be a starter, and I just wanted to build upon that. Going to 2018, confirming a spot, confirming that I could hang out here, and it wasn't just a fluke that I belong out here. And obviously, with the guys around us being older guys now, the program we're at the point where we want to win. We know we can win now, so we just got to come and do the work. And it was basically the entire time, from the winter workouts to spring ball, especially, and definitely into the summer workouts. I just remember overall everybody coming in every single day ready to push themselves to keep working hard, and you felt that vibe and felt that energy going in. And obviously that class with freshmen that came in with Darius, of course, too. Those guys came in. I think it was like the first time freshmen were allowed to come up, like the original class,
Yep.
and come on and work out with us older guys out there. So that was really cool at first. And it's just a whole different thing having those guys out there competing and doing that stuff. And there's a lot of things like Barbara, I was gonna talk about like with Darius too. Like I can't lie and say I had that many conversations with him, but I remember every time he came out there, he worked hard. He went hard 100%, 110%, yo. That kid was busting himself. I remember when we were doing the corn drill too, I just looked at my right, I seen him. Obviously, I knew he was faster than me. I see him going, but just going me and him going back and forth to try and keep up with him.
Fourth grade.
That drive just kept it
Quick.
going. Yeah, man. Trust me. So like I just see him come out every day, and this is not like just one day. Like I see him running the freshman pack, and he's out there blazing it fast as hell. Cause I see him running. But just seeing that type of effort and tenacity and effort from him, like it just had nothing but respect for him out there. And even in our team drills or 7-on-7 air ball, whatever, you see him working hard, learning. People are trying to coach him up. He's taking advice. So just seeing his presence out there was crazy, and obviously us losing him like that, unbelievably, that was a different experience than you can imagine. I still remember the day like it was back of my hand. I can go through it however you want to, but I just remember that moment and seeing that and
Sure.
everything. But it's from that moment upon I say forth, it really humbled that team. Not in the sense that nobody there was egotistical. We were all high above ourselves, but you always have to check yourself, especially where you're at in life, especially when you lose life. You lose somebody who you feel like you barely even got to know, but you feel like he's part of the family regardless, because he was part of the family. He's Black Bear for life, no matter what. But it's just having such high expectations, having a tragedy like that hit us all deeply and impactfully, it kind of let us put things in a firm perspective. And I know we end up having a successful season that year, but people don't forget we struggled early on that year. We had a great game against UNH, we beat Kentucky, and then we kind of hit that little like landslide where we lost to Yale and Central Michigan, both games where we know we should have won in.
And
But
they were
like
both yours.
those exactly. So those 2 games, we're like looking at ourselves like, nah, man, this isn't it. Like we're not going back to where we were. You know, we can do so much better, and it's really where we have to dig deep and find the identity of our that time. And like I said, that resilience, that perseverance that we all went through that struggle, and just knowing what's important to us is really what helped us lock in and just come out on top. And obviously, you coming out there against Elon at the last game of the year, and just fighting for that last game too for the CAA, and just coming through, seeing my boy Erm, Kirk, two of them. Zay was out there as a backup quarterback, helping the offense do this, and obviously us in the black hole was doing our best effort out there too. And it just felt surreal. We finally had that, and then going into the playoffs was even more crazy because, like,
Jacksonville.
we're on ESPN. Yeah,
Woo!
man, we're on ESPN. ESPN's not out there here in the casual, the regular,
Nah, man, you
So
got the
like,
flow sports with the janky camera angles, man. 24
see,
month.
you can't be saying, but you feel me? But you don't talk exactly. You don't talk about though exactly. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like we're out there playing ESPN live. You can probably tell our family, hey, yo, tune in on ESPN. You're gonna see us balling on hoop.
That's it.
We went crazy against Jacksonville State. They were flying to Utah 6 hours across the country. Like they will play in that crazy environment where you can see the mountains. It's dark. It's nice. The crowd's going into it. They have flames going on one side over there. I'm like, wow, like it's crazy. Like I didn't know this is how college football's supposed to be, but it was
So,
just an experience you don't forget.
and then you went to their
I
house and
mean,
did what? Shut them down.
no, come on. We do what we have to do, handle business.
Yeah,
The next time we went out there, we got humbled too. But it doesn't take away from what we accomplished that entire year and everything we endured. I feel like everybody from there came out it better, not just a football player, of course, but as a person, as an individual. That they all grew from it, and they all took it away and learned from it. I feel like it speaks true to a lot of people from that team who I'm still in reach with, who still know what happened. We're still around that stuff. It still speaks to them. So that's why 2018 is definitely a memorable place in my heart, not just in a football standpoint, but just a very pivotal point in my life up to this point too as well.
yeah, man, for sure. So, look, man, I hit Dre with it the other night, and I'm gonna do the same with you. I'm gonna put you on a spot, and I'm gonna ask you what's your biggest memory from 2018? What stands out the most, man? What was the most special moment?
For myself, I feel like for me it was just being able to reflect back at the end of the year. Like I said, I had my own personal goals going into that year, and it was really just about my own. As much as I'm a team player, don't get me wrong, but I'm also someone who wants to be the best, always out there in the field. And I really felt like I really came out there and proved my name or let people know who I was off of that season. And I just felt like I felt great. I felt excited, humbled, appreciative, but I felt like hungry the entire time. I feel like I was satisfying that hunger. So for me, it was just knowing at the end of the year that I did this. Like I set my goals for myself. I achieved these goals, and I know I can still go for more and get better from them. And that was basically the biggest takeaway, the biggest memory I know from 2018. Like, yo, you really set this bar high for yourself, but you know that's a bar you can hit. And for myself, it's like, yo, I can really start going further and further with this. I just got to keep working and better myself. And for me, basically, that's what it was. I just knew to keep working, grinding, and find ways to keep making myself a better player from that day on.
Yeah, man. So I'll tell you what, my biggest memory from the 2018 season in general, man, was when I was in the end zone with Killer Cam, right? Cameron, Bubby's or Darius's brother. So we're in
Mhm.
the end zone at Towson, man. It's like first and goal on the goal line, and y'all stop them, and then y'all stop them again, and then y'all stop them again. It was a wrap. Y'all weren't supposed to do that.
I'm about to say that times again. That's a different. That's another big one too. That season, to be honest, because my own self, I was suspended the first half from targeting. It was all right. And then we came back in, and then they started scoring points on us, and then everyone's looking at me like, "Oh, you're bad luck." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not bad luck. It just came back in. They showed up too. They said we're here too now." And then it was going back and forth, and then that last goal line stand was crazy because I remember like there was one play they ran to the left. I tried to dive and make a play. I flew off with the running back Shane, and I got back up, and me and my other boy Andrew tackled him like 2 yards in. Then they lined up again the next play and goal line. They're missing people. We're missing one person. They're calling timeouts. We're calling timeouts. People keep going back in, keep going back out. Next play we stop. We miss third down. They try to run some inside zone and get stopped. Then they run the Philly special, their own version of it.
Yeah.
And then luckily it was a little mess up or whatever happened, and then we end up stopping. I'm just like, yo, my boys, you just took away a crazy dub. Like, re-earned this. We took this from these guys in their
Man,
crib.
yeah,
And
that's
I was
exactly.
like, no, that was basically what put us over the top. I already like that's a game I already feel like put us over the top of the season. Like, yeah, the rest of this is how it's supposed to go for the rest of this year.
Yeah, man. Like there was a lot of those moments, and then strange enough, small world. I had a gentleman named Tyler Witt that was on the show, a couple of months ago, and he was at Western Kentucky, right? And
Okay.
he just transferred to Purdue this year to finish out, his last year of eligibility. But man, we talked about that game, right? I was like, I'm curious what it's like on the other side, right? You got an FBS
All
school
right.
coming in. You're supposed to be, dominating. It's basically just a warm up game in a sense. Give you guys a paycheck, they collect the W and move on. But y'all went
Big
in there,
facts.
the kick won it in their house. Like, and I was just curious. When we were chopping it up, I was like, man, like what's your perspective? What's it like on the other side? And it wasn't because I'm trying to rub in his face. I was just curious, man.
Yeah,
Like, because that was an incredibly special moment, man. I'm watching that game on ESPN. Well,
of
ESPN Plus,
course.
right? I had to pay for the subscription, but I was tapped in, right? And so I'm watching it, man. And when I saw him line up for the field goal, I'm like, come on, man, there's something special. And then next thing you know, you got the block kick, and it was a wrap. And I was like, I damn near had tears in my eyes, man. Like it was that special. Like it meant that much to me, and I barely knew you guys, right? And
Yeah,
it's just moments like that it'll stick with me forever, man. And I have you guys to thank, because you guys have been first class through and through, man. The entire staff, the entire team, man. Every time I show up, you guys are always dapping me up and saying what's up, and showing love, man. And I'm just there for support, man. I'm there because he can't be. And if I can show up, if I can make a road trip, by all means, that's what I'm gonna do. And I tried everything in my heart to make it to the opener at UD, but COVID obviously isn't our friend, and
right.
that prevented that from happening. So hopefully I get to join you guys back in the fall, man, and get on the sidelines again because that's a happy place, man. I feel like he's beside me, when I'm on the sidelines with you guys. So, but cool, man. So let's kind of just shift gears. Let's move into the next segment, right? Because we could talk about the 2018 season for forever, man, and I could talk about Darius forever. But I ain't trying to get too emotional, man. So let's do this. Let's talk about your high school career. Let's rewind the clock and let's learn a little bit about what your recruiting process looked like that ultimately led you to Maine. So you coming out of Canada, man, I'm super curious to hear what this looks like.
So yeah, man, I've been Canada. I born and raised in Toronto my entire life. I went to high school originally in a school called Don Bosco. Obviously, people from Canadian gonna know where that is in Toronto. Shout out to my family, Dirty Bird Nation. You already know. I was there for 3 years up until my grade 11 year, junior year of high school there. It was great. We won 2 championships there while I was there. We have fun. My family, the death of them, I rep that school to the end of me. So unfortunate now because now the school's actually closed down.
Wow.
So like I'm like, yeah. And it closed down not even I think a year or two after I left. So like I'm pretty one of the last few people from the school standing right now who still play ball. So then I think my grade 11 year after that, I reclassified and ended up, looking for a few boarding schools or prep schools, whatever we were willing to take me on. And I ended up finding the Kent School in Connecticut. That's where I ended up going to. I felt comfortable over there. They had a board, no, not board. They had a guy named Tavon Smith who's from the same, ends I'm from, the same,
Okay.
area. Chaminade, I think the Chaminade High School. We played against him when I was young, from over there. So I knew about him. They have other Canadian guys that went over there. So I'm like, all right, that's definitely the flex. That's my movement.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down there. I reclassified for 2 years. So I basically repeated grade 11 down there. And I had a grade 12 year there too. So the 2 years there I spent, it was it was very, again, humbling because I went from two different worlds and two different realities in a sense. Obviously coming from where I'm from in Toronto and being at Bosco and doing those things, and now going to a boarding school where you're basically dressing up every day and you're wearing a shirt and tie and a blazer. I promise you, man. I have to go on YouTube real quick to go figure out how to put on a tie properly,
Oh
and stuff
man, my
like
tie's
that. And
definitely tight, so it's all good.
exactly. So those are just the things I'm talking about. And just for me, it was also a culture shock because I'm not from Connecticut. I don't know that stuff. I'm a black kid from Toronto for the most part. Like we're very multiversal, diverse. Like I identify myself as Jamaican before anything else, type of stuff. So I'm going to these kids over there, and it was all natural. I'm not someone who's hard or picky or needs to cause problems. It was all cool from the jump, and then even with the football side of things, it was very good too. There's people there who I made bonds with, people there who I got love and respect for to this very day. And just the experience out there is something you don't forget, or you're never not appreciative or humble for. Because at the end of the day, it got me to where I am right now. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So what got you to where you are now, man? At what point did you get your first offer, or was UMaine the one and only offer?
UMaine was technically the one and only offer I got out of the school. I remember after my repeat grade 11 year at Kent, me and my boy and my boy Nelson Thomas and our coach, we drove down to Rutgers camp right after we finished basically the school year.
Okay.
And then we got there, yeah, like right after the school year finished, the last day of classes, me, him, our coach drove down to Rutgers. I'm going there because I know Coach so and so was there. He wanted to see me come out to the camp, and him, me, and my boy too. So we went out there. It was great. We got there a little bit late. It was cool, no problems. We told them that. I remember going to the fields out there they have at Rutgers. We did the linebacker drills. We're going through it. Before I went to the field, I found the coach on the sideline had already been there. I'm just asking, like, yo, coach, can you point me in the direction of the coach I'm looking for? He's like, yeah, no problem. Go over there. So and so. So boom, boom. I go through the drills. I'm doing the drills. It's going good. The coach is like, go to Stevens, go to this drill. Doing it. I'm going through the drills. I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm moving good. All right, no problem. And then it's on the way back now that we're going back to the stadium for the one-on-ones. The same coach who I bumped into asked questions turned to be Coach Harry Simiak.
That man seems to be everywhere, right?
Yeah, but he was the same one I bumped into asking to where's so and so, and then he ended up stopping before we went back to the stadium, and that's when he offered my offer right then and there. And I was just like, it's just really how it goes. Because you just said you earned yourself a scholarship. I looked at my coach and I asked him, is this really what it is? Like, I'm in disbelief because I didn't believe it was real at first. I'm like, this is really how it goes. And you know what? It was just from there, and that's how it was.
At that point, you were like, you know
I,
what, Black Bear Nation.
yeah, man. And then I just had, my process was obviously different. If I can keep it real too, I definitely put some of them myself, just keeping it real. Because end of the day, I could have put myself up in my situation had I handled my school stuff better. Had I been a better student, I feel like a lot of the opportunities that presented itself with other schools would have been more natural, would have been more easier. Because I remember other schools like UMass was when I was talking to. They came and see me a couple of times. I've been to other camps, other schools I was talking to a little bit, but ultimately, I feel like if I handled that part of myself better, knowing that now, things will be different now. But at the end of the day, I'm more than happy, grateful to God that I'm still here doing what I'm doing right now. At the end of the day, I'm here for a reason. So no
Exactly.
complaints, there's no point in having regrets for that type of stuff. It's just, me and myself knowing and reflecting that it could have gone a different way had I done things properly. I hope people who listen to this and, take that type of advice, just handle your business, put your own self in the most successful situation. Even though if you're not a big fan of school, just do it, yo. Just do what you gotta do. So that way it's not even a question. A coach gonna ask you or they ask you other people what's going on with that type of stuff.
Yeah, man. Because I had three different interviews last night, but my last interview was a set of twins, right? Twin brothers, quarterback, wide receiver combo down in Georgia, right? So that's pretty
Yeah,
special. But that was
yeah,
one thing, when I talk about the recruiting process, that was the one thing that really stood out the most about that whole conversation. Was the fact that they went the extra mile to do the footwork, right? But more importantly, they stressed the academics. Like it was super important to make sure that your academics are straight because if you get offered, the first thing that they're going to ask is, what's your GPA, what's your test scores, right? Where's your transcripts, that
right,
stuff. That's the
right.
thing because if you don't qualify, what's the point of giving you an offer, right?
Big facts.
Yeah. So, man, that's super cool. I had no idea that you finished out and reclassed here in the state. So, that's news to me, man. Learning something new every day. Pretty cool experience. So let's do this. Once committed to Maine and you ultimately got on campus, right? Um,
Mhm.
how was that experience? What was the transition like from high school ball to prep ball to ultimately college D1 football? In Maine.
Yeah, definitely. I remember it picks up so quickly in a sense because I know in Canada we're going for an environment where not too many people are the biggest fans or supporters of high school football or football in general over there. And in Kent, I kind of felt the shift in that, at least in the own, campus community, that people would show up to our games. They had a whole thing, all this stuff, things I never got to see really back in your own backyard, basically. and then just ended up in Maine is so different because now you're being asked to be a Division 1 athlete. I feel like for everybody it's the same case, but different paces, whatever. You're being asked to wake up early. You're being asked to show up to these workouts, these freshman workouts, which are freshman lifts with your other classmates, other people in your class, and you're really you're right from the goal. You're being asked to, you got to push yourself, you got to work hard, you got to make yourself ready to go so that when it's your turn to be out on the field, you're the best, shape you can be, the best physical changes you put in, all the work and grind, the time you put in, it shows its results. And just even the practice element, we had a lot of older guys on that team already, so that environment where like you got to come prepared to be ready to go on the field. I remember one time on one of my first few practices out there, I'm like linebacker, so I got to know the calls, I got to make the adjustments, and I was struggling with making some of the adjustments for the D line. And one of my boys, he looked back and started yelling at me, like saying, make your call a little more, yeah, a little more unfriendly like that. But basically, yeah, that's what happened. I'm like, wow, this is for real. And for me, this is like, okay, I gotta learn my stuff because I never learned formation. I never learned adjustments. I never learned how to read an offense and these type of things before, especially coming back home and type stuff. So for me, I just gotta learn quick. Like I gotta learn this stuff. I gotta watch the film. I gotta spend time with the coaches. I gotta make sure that I'm ready to go and do my job to the best ability. So that way I can make sure other people are doing their job to the best ability. And we both start showing all our skills and talents to the best, or the best possible. And that's basically what it was my freshman year. I remember another guy was there, Christoph Numba, another Canadian linebacker. He actually ended up he went to Kent School before I did. And
Okay.
he hosted me. He was my host. He was basically like a mentor you look up to, when you first get in there because he's a fifth-year senior. And we had that connection being back from Canada, all that type of stuff. And I just seen the way he approached his stuff and taking care of himself, his film study, and just how he was as a football player out there, type of stuff. And I feel like I resonated with myself a lot. So, I just took from his own stuff and I made up my own stuff and basically, make your own way of that path. Because at the end of the day, that's how you be successful. You watch who's doing things correctly and you learn to make it successful for yourself and make your own touch and spin on it, basically. So that's a big shout out to him seeing that stuff and the other people around me. Because if it wasn't for the guys that, from that class, especially before me, I wouldn't be able to, our team and our environment wouldn't have been what it been leading up to 2018 and even to this day. So there's a lot of things that come at you basically from that transition point. But I say, like, as long as you focus on making yourself the best possible athlete or football player you can be, you're going to see the results paying by the time you're out there in the field finally. So you got to make them sacrifices. You got to put the time in, but it's definitely worth it when you're out there making the plays and being with, being there, being out there for what you're meant to be.
That's super cool. Yeah. It's kind of a very similar path. When I've talked to other college athletes, man, it's very similar, right? It's like it's almost like a culture shock coming in as a freshman for the most part. Because you go from being the big man on campus at your current high school to now you're the low man on the totem pole unless you're coming in and as a 5-star number one rated player in the nation, right? At that point, maybe you got a little skin in the game. But as your normal athlete, man, you come in, you got to earn your spot. You got to earn the respect and build that relationship. And that was one big thing that Darius said, during his official visit down there or up there technically, was he felt the brotherhood. It felt real, it felt genuine, and that's something that he wanted to be a part of. And that's just super special to me. So no, man, I appreciate you kind of taking us through memory lane, right? And rewinding the clock. But let's do this, man. Let's stop talking about football. We could do that forever and ever. But let's talk about you as a person, man. So for the viewers out there, for anybody that's going to watch the replay to this, let's learn a little bit about who Deshawn Stevens is outside of the game, man. What are you involved with? What do you like to do? Who are you as a person?
Me, I'm a very relaxed and chill person for the most part. Like I don't need too much attention. I don't like causing them too much attention. For the most part, I like just spending time with my family and my friends, especially being away for so long and committing to football for the past 7 years now, especially being away from home. Every time I get to go home, I just try to make an emphasis to go see somebody or go talk to somebody I've been seeing in a minute. I get so caught up in trying to, be the best and trying to make sure I'm the best football player out there that I sometimes forget to make sure to keep checking in and make sure everybody's good back home too. But that's just me being focused. But that's something I always try to fix upon and be better at. But for me, it's always like, don't let the game take away from who you are and what got you here and the people that help build you up to this point and just being, truthful and grateful to back home. Like I said, like I know back home there's not too many people at all who's playing Division 1 football, especially where I'm from, or even other stuff like that too. So I always take extra pride and extra, extra thought process to it, to know that you got to keep carrying this torch, so that way, if not for you, the next generation could go on with it. But even outside of football, man, like I chill by that, going out, eating food, the family, cooking food, mom's food, of course. I'm a very cool back person for myself. I love trying to learn and keep trying to build myself up in different ways. I've seen it from my mother. She used to work at the YMCA back home. She's a social worker. She works with everybody, every story, every possible case there is. For me, it's just being appreciative and humble as a man right now, trying to build myself up and seeing different facets of life. Like this woman, myself, my mother, a single mother, did everything she can to put a roof and clothes and food in my, for me and that stuff to provide. So for me, I just take that to consideration every single day I'm out here and give thanks and give respect and praise, because again, a lot of people don't have those type of simple things, even though it's the same case. So for me, I just try to keep things laid back. I'm a person who's going to enjoy his time with everybody he can. I'm gonna keep finding different ways, keep learning and growing. Whether it's a skill here to trade there, doing a little job here and there while I'm home, just keep building up my own like little, my own skill set,
Sure.
and just doing stuff like that. Just moving one day forward and keep building up.
Nah, man. So, man, so that's pretty cool. Let me do this. Game day, right? Game
Yeah.
day. What's in your ears, man? What's the go-to playlist?
I mean, I have everything from my playlist. Like I'm gonna have everything from the newest trap. I'm gonna have the classes going on in there. The one I'll say this, the one surprise that probably most people don't really bang out with. For me, I got one classical song I always gotta hear. I don't know what it is about it. We're hearing Requiem for a Dream. Just hearing that makes you feel like you about to go, like I'm about to go into a war in my head. Like, all right, this is it. You play Requiem for a Dream, that just gets you in the mindset. Yeah, I'm about to go to war right now. I'm about to do what I have to do out there in the field. I'm about to hurt somebody, but I'm gonna hurt somebody if I have to do what I gotta do out there in the field, basically. And then I'm a heavy person. Like I love watching the highlight tapes before I go out there. I mean, I know it sounds narcissistical in a way, but I kind of like to envision it and just put that on my head. Like I gotta watch my old highlight tape and just keep telling myself, I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna be better than you. And that's just how I go out there. And like I gotta be better than that guy that was previously out there. And then I'm gonna throw in obviously like some type of Ray Lewis or Patrick Willis out there, just the big hitters mentality. I'm gonna watch LeBron just so I get a nice LeBron what greatness looks like type stuff. And then yeah, so then and then I'll watch I always finish off with like the highlight tape from one of the old heads from my school at Bosco, Jay Alanga. That's the guy from Bosco for me who did it because he was basically the greatest over there at the school. So I have
Awesome.
to watch his tape 1, 2 times where he just comes out there just flying, bodying people. I think like a minute into the highlight tape, he literally comes out from the safety spot, knocks dude out cold. And this is back in the day when you can hit people like that still. So like he puts yeah. So he puts them out cold, like Sean Taylor type stuff coming down,
Look,
flying
man,
people
these
out.
days you're kicked out the game. You're suspended the first half of the next, right? You know all about
Exactly.
that.
So that's been yeah, exactly. So for me, that's just how the same routine it is. At least when I'm like right before a game day. So that's what's always going on, what's happening. And I gotta throw my 1, 2, Jamaican tracks. I'm Jamaican, of course. So just have that pride in me out there. To always know who I am, where I'm from, type stuff.
Look, man, I enjoy some nice dance hall music, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, man.
okay, okay, my
Yeah.
God.
Look, man. Look,
Okay, now we're
some
talking. Now
dance
we're
hall music, all
talking.
right?
Yeah, man. Okay, we're talking. We're talking now.
Yeah. Strange enough, man, that's one of the Caribbean islands that I haven't visited yet. I want to
Really?
go to Jamaica. I need to go to Jamaica, but I haven't been there yet, man. I've been pretty much everywhere else,
Um,
but I ain't been to Jamaica.
um, please make that trip when COVID. Hey, cool. I'm pretty sure they got you traveling now. You gotta make that trip when you're good to go, man. Make that trip. I promise you won't regret it. You'll love it. You'll
Nah,
love it.
man, I'm looking
Keep it
forward
in
to it.
mind.
It's on the list, that's
Trust
for
me.
sure, man. So look,
Trust me.
last and final question. I'm gonna let you go, man, because then I got two more after you. This has been a ton of fun. I appreciate it. But I'm just curious, man. What's next for you? Are you coming back in the fall? Is that still unknown? What's your plans? Going forward.
For me, like I said, I have options on the table right now. I have thankfully eligibility still on the table with 2 more years because of my injury.
Oh, okay.
And
Know that.
yeah, so 2019 because I got hurt the
Yep.
first game, they actually granted me back an extra season
That's
on
cool.
top of COVID. So it's
Okay.
like really 2 seasons in a sense to be used from. So I'm still technically a junior on the field, even though I'm a 50 year senior. But still, it's all right. It's whatever. No worries. But like I still have those two options. I have the CFO again because I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
So technically this is my draft year right now. So whoever drafts me this year will have my rights. Basically, if I wanted to go into the CFO by fall, if I wanted to, whatever I decide to.
Okay.
And again, I have another choice if I want to come back or return into Maine in the fall, or if I want to do into the portal and see what's happening again, and end up somewhere else. Hopefully, somewhere bigger picks me up, a Power Five school, something like that. So there's definitely I got a lot of options I got to go through. But
Yeah.
I feel that that's why it's very important for me to play this spring season, just because I wanted to have some type of pick up where I left off. I left off one game into the season, 2019. I didn't get to rep my jersey number 60 and that type of stuff and just be out there with the guys. So it's nice again just being out there with the teammates and being out there for the coaches and just repping the obviously Maine again one more time. And that's the biggest thing for me. And, I just gotta see what's best for myself at this point. Because again, I'm 23 right now. I want to be playing professionally, whether I hope by next year actually. So I gotta understand what's best for my career right now at this point. I feel that's a lot of things people don't a lot of things student athletes don't understand. Like you are a student athlete, you are there to play football, earn your degree, and do this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you have dreams to pursue the next level, you got to understand the situation you're in. You really have to look at yourself and evaluate where you're at, what you can achieve, what you can do, and how much time frame you got. So I always give people credit or try to put spotlight on, especially the guys in the locker room right now. Like, yo, I believe you have skills to go on and do better things, and you gotta worry focus on making yourself the best athlete while you're here, the best football player while you're here. If you really want to pursue things down the line, you gotta put the extra work in, and that's for your own mental, for your own physical body, and just making sure everything's still going at 110%, so you can still pursue it down the line. So for me, it's just a different mindset right now. Where like obviously I'm playing ball, but in the back of my head, I know I gotta figure out what's best for my career to get it going right now.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, you know, I'm excited to see how it unfolds, man. Obviously, I want you to suit up, Black Bear Nation, rep UMaine, but ultimately, man, I wish nothing but the best for you, regardless of what the decision comes, right? Whether you come back in the fall or you enter the portal or you go professionally, whatever you decide to do, whatever God's plan is, man. Stay safe, stay healthy, man. Let's stay in contact. There's no problem there. And like I said,
No
hopefully
problem.
COVID lets up. I get to see you guys in person again. But look, man, I appreciate you jumping on. All right. Until next time, I'm Rob
No
Odie. This
problem.
is Spotlight 39. That's my man, Deshawn Stevens, repping you, Maine. I'm coming back. I got 2 more interviews. Stay tuned. Let's go.
Respect.